So just to explain what happened then on that outrun, at the top of that outrun. So Mack turned up in a pretty good spot. Look, he was a little bit tight, but he was making a pretty honest attempt to get to 1 o'clock. I was happy with it, but all I wanted to do then was stop him at the top, and he just wouldn't lie down. So it took 3 huge attempts, extended attempts, to get him to stop at the top of the outrun. So I think what was going on is Mack thought, oh geez, I'm incorrect, you know, what's he stopping me again for? And he just kind of felt like he might have been in a little bit of trouble. Not trouble, but he'd done something wrong and I was trying to pressure him perhaps. And that may have come from those, you know, you have seen a few ordinary attempts at a left-hand outrun in the previous weeks and months. So we haven't been out here a hell of a lot. He's just been going to work. I'm trying to catch most of his, here Macca, most of his training on camera, watching. So we'll just try again. So I was pretty happy with that otherwise. He needs to go to the fence here to be wide enough. That's better. So that was the first out of those 3 or 4 attempts at actually an honest bend out. So I'll just sped him up then to tell him he's okay. All right, so I'll let him have the sheep now. So I stopped him 3 or 4 times there. I didn't growl at him. You know, I didn't pressure him in any huge way. Steady. Hey. So just want Mack thinking now, just while I explain myself. Hey. I didn't, you know, pressure him hugely on that outrun or when I was looking for that bend out. I just kept stopping him. Stop. I just kept stopping him, stop, and waiting for an honest attempt at a bend out. So we finally got a decent one. I still probably wasn't super happy with it, but we did finally get one, and I was happy enough to give him that clock, stop, to give him that clockwise whistle to tell him that he was correct. And I also, he was kind of hesitant going across the top there to finish the outrun. I'm just going to put these sheep back up the other end. So I gave Mack a clockwise and he came onto the sheep, so I stopped him and asked for a clockwise. Good. I'll just try and explain that once I get these sheep back in a good spot. Good boy. Hello, Mack. I prefer those sheep in the middle somewhere, but they seem to always want to drift to what would be your left-hand side of screen. They always drift that way because that's where their mates live over there. So we'll see what happens with Macca on this one. So if those sheep are way over there, it gives him a lot more room to kind of, and again, I'll just stress, I'm not trying to teach a fence follower. Here, Macca. But in a paddock this size, he really needs to be on the fence, particularly these sheep that are light enough. They're far from wild, but for broke sheep, they're still reasonably responsive. So he does need to be more or less on the fence to give him enough room to pick him up cleanly. So just to explain that last attempt at outrun, yeah, I just stopped him. I stopped him 2 or 3 or 4 times, and I didn't put any huge pressure on him. I just kept going up the paddock and telling him he was incorrect. You're incorrect, you're incorrect, you're incorrect, you're incorrect. And then he gave me an honest attempt. It still wasn't good enough, but it was definitely honest. So I gave him the tick of approval and flicked him on with that clockwise whistle. And he kind of ran along the top of that paddock a little bit lethargic. Here, Macca, you're a good boy. And I just gave him a bit of a to speed him up along there and tell him that he's okay. What happened after that? Still, my stop's not good up there at the top, is it? I guess that's a result of, you know, I guess adding some distance and plenty of practical work in between. I've never let him run through a stop at work, but I rarely stop him, if that makes sense. So he gets lots of their commands and lots of just come onto your stock, come onto your stock. So absolutely the purpose of this lesson is just to formalise some of these things, get that outrun bigger and more tidy, and also, here, Macca, get a decent stop at, you know, 300 metres, and hopefully we can get one at 500, 600, 700, 800 metres. So we're just finding these things and tidying them up on a Sunday morning when we've got time, and it's all, you know, it's all, we can just make it a little bit more formal.